And good afternoon, everyone. On this Wednesday, I'm John Harper, and it's time for Helping Seniors of Brevard. Let's get the show underway right now with our host and the Executive Director of Helping Seniors of Brevard. Here's Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry.
Hey, John Harper. Good Wednesday afternoon. It's always great to be here on the radio, 90.3 FM WEJF. And for those who are listening online at WEJF.net, welcome. And for those who catch us as a podcast, we are grateful for you tuning in to Helping Seniors Radio. This is the show that's designed to educate, inform, and connect you to resources that are going to make a difference as you develop your own aging plan, something we like to call getting your ducks in a row. And today on the show, we have the pleasure of having one of the great longtime friends of Helping Seniors who certainly knows a thing or two about getting ducks in a row. And for sure, we're going to have a really good program today talking about we can fix it, you can prevent it. I am talking with none other than noted area periodontist, Dr. Lee Sheldon of Solid Bite Dental. Dr. Sheldon, how are you today?
Kerry, it's great. I'm great. Good to be back with you and with Jim and with John. And we're going to talk about something that may be a little bit controversial. I don't think so. We'll talk about what you can do to stay away from us.
Oh, I love it. And I don't mean it like that, but I mean, when I was looking through the show notes, I was thinking, well, this is appropriate like when you go to the dentist's office, but it's actually appropriate for almost anything that you would think about medically or even other things. I think there's so much we can learn from today's show. So I'm looking forward to diving into it. However, I would be remiss if I didn't, because we are just like literally a couple of weeks out now. It's the second week from Sunday. We are going to be gathering, Dr. Sheldon, out at the American Muscle Car Museum. That's a phenomenal collection of cars that Mark Pylock has assembled right here in Melbourne, Florida. I always kind of joke, Dr. Sheldon, we each have garages in our house, and we have maybe 1, 2, 3 cars or something going on in those garages. Well, this is Mark Pylock's private garage, and it has something like 500 cars in there. So it's not like you can call up Dr. Sheldon and say, hey, Dr. Sheldon, can we see the cars in your garage? And you have to say, well, I'll have to wait till the time it's convenient. But you know what? That's the same thing with Mark Pylock's garage. You have to go in there when it's open, and he's ready to welcome visitors. And on Sunday, October 26th, he's ready to welcome us, Dr. Sheldon.
He is. And if you think you saw it last year, forget about it. You're going to see something different this year. What Mark does is he adds and subtracts. And so there's something of interest to all of us. So this is a major charity for the year. This is a major event where we're going to be giving away one of 5 cars. 5 cars, is that right, Kerry?
Even better, it's 7 cars.
7 cars, and you can choose which car you want, and all you have to do is buy raffle tickets for that event on October 26th. We're all going to have a good time. Food is always excellent, as is the company. And the crowds that we've had, I'm going to tell you this right now, get there early so that you have every opportunity of seeing all the cars and having a great time at the event and eating well and communicating with some of our people and some other people. It's going to be a great time.
You know, we're going to have such a blast out there. You know, they invited us in to do some promo filming here just this past week. And it was phenomenal because I was mentioning to the folks that run the museum, I said, this is incredible because even when you walk in the front lobby, it's totally different than what he had. He's got things changed around. There's more cars in the front. There's, of course, more cars in the back. He's added a collection of model cars that are in the back now. It's something that wasn't there last year. He's got a full row of Mustangs. It's just incredible. So even if you have been there before, you're going to enjoy seeing everything that's new and been added to the collection. And if you haven't been there before, let me tell you, this is one of those don't miss experiences because it can be so much fun. And Dr. Sheldon, it's not only the cars inside this year, because we asked our good friend Bill Antonetz, who is the person who puts together so many of the top quality car shows here in Brevard County. He does the show that we do over at Calvary Chapel in West Melbourne. It had over 300 cars last month. He also does a lot of great service to the assisted living community because he'll do car shows for the assisted living communities and bring maybe 20, 25 of his friends who have great cars out. And they literally, because the folks in the assisted living can't get out to see the cars, he brings the cars to them. And so he's kindly agreed to help us set up a car show. We're going to expect 150 or 200 cars outside the museum, in addition to the great collection Mark has inside. So we're calling it the best of the best of the best, sir, of Brevard. And those cars are going to be out there. And then one more thing, Dr. Sheldon, because this is the last weekend in October, we thought shame on us if we don't take advantage of that opportunity and make it, since it's a family-friendly event anyway, right? You get your adult ticket and you can bring 2 kids, grandkids, neighbor kids, grab a kid, whatever, and come on out and enjoy fun at the museum this Sunday afternoon on October 26th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. But there's going to be a giant trunk or treat. So Bill is telling all of his couple of hundred car friends that are coming out with their really amazing cars to make sure they're loaded up with goodies so kids can enjoy a trunk or treat afternoon as well. And then, of course, the big moment happens later in the afternoon when Mark pulls somebody out of the audience to reach in that barrel, and we're going to find out who the winner of that car is, Dr. Sheldon.
Sounds like a great afternoon. And just to make sure that you all know that it is not Solid Bite who is sponsoring the trunk or treat. We are not sponsoring candy bars for this event.
Oh, well, I don't know. Surely there must be something healthy we could lead them to do. Maybe we
I'll
could
bring some apples with me, okay?
There we go. That'll work fine. Well, okay. I realize this couldn't be endorsed by somebody who helps us with mouth health, but it's once a year and it's fun. We'll have a great time. But listen, how do you get tickets is really the question. Now, Dr. Sheldon, your office in its brand new, beautiful location has tickets. People can run by there and get tickets. They can certainly come by the Helping Seniors Resource Center, which is 1344 South Apollo Boulevard, and Karen or one of our wonderful volunteers will be happy to get you set up with your tickets. And here's the other thing. You can go by any of the Boniface Hire dealerships because Dr. Sheldon, as we were talking about, there's 7 great cars. It's basically one that represents each brand that AJ Hires, who's helped Joe and helping seniors for years, organize this raffle. And so it's one of 7 cars. So you can go by any of the dealerships, get a close-up inspection of the car you would like to win, and get your tickets right there on site. 2 other great ways to get your tickets. I'm going to give you a phone number so you can take this number down. Give us a call. It's a number that you want to have anyway because it is the Senior Information Helpline. So it's the go-to number when you need help with something seniors. And today I'm suggesting you need help getting your Helping Seniors car raffle tickets. They'll be so happy to help you if you just call Karen or one of our great volunteers. That phone number is area code 321-473-7770. I'm going to say it one more time, 321-473-7770. And you know what? There's one last way I want to make sure you know about, which is very easy. You can just get your tickets safely and securely online at helpingseniors.carraffle.com, helpingseniors.carraffle.com. Again, one ticket does it all. It's your donation into the Helping Seniors world. It keeps us going solidly into 2026. And Dr. Sheldon, as we've talked about, we as a charity, we have no reason to exist other than to help people, and we can only help people to the extent that people help us help people. So when you donate for those tickets, you're really helping so many of your friends and neighbors in Brevard County. Number 2, you get each ticket is a entry in the barrel, and when we go to that barrel at the end of the afternoon, we hope we pull out your ticket. The third thing, though, that it does is it lets you come to the big festivities that are going on at the American Muscle Car Museum that afternoon, Sunday, October 26th. Again, you do not have to be present to win. So if that happens to be the week that you're out on vacation or you're out of the area, not a problem. We're going to do a Facebook Live, and believe me, we will call you. Once we pull that ticket, that's the winner, and we will track you down, make sure you get your car. But if you can be out there, it's so much fun, Dr. Sheldon. You've been there. You know what a blast it really is.
I have. I mean, if you look at $25 a ticket, $25 for admission to a museum like this, that's actually inexpensive to be able to see that. I think that's why we're so fortunate to have Mark Pylok right here. Mark decided to build this muscle car museum. It has to be 7-8 years ago? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's right behind Walmart over in the corner of Wickham and Sarno. For those of us who saw it going up at that time, we had no idea what was going up. We just saw that something was going up and it was not identified. And then all of a sudden we find out that what this is a venue, and you can only go into this as part of a charitable organization. So charitable organizations, Mark only sponsors charitable organizations, and we're fortunate to be one of those that Mark sponsors, so that you have the opportunity of seeing something that's unique. You say, well, I'm in Melbourne, Florida. It's different. It's smaller than anything else. This would challenge any museum, any place, any car museum, any place in the country, perhaps the world. And we're just fortunate to have Mark right here. And so this is a special opportunity. If you have guests that are coming in from out of town, this is something special that you can bring them to, because they don't have anything like this. Chances are they don't have anything like this or close to this in their areas. So it's a real special event, real special venue, an opportunity to see cars that you've never seen. And the other thing, Kerry, is that it gives us an opportunity of seeing cars that we grew up with. And
yes.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember when I was paying $28.9 per gallon of gas, and I was filling up this car. It just brings back such experiences, reminiscences, if you will, in order to see where we were 30, 40, 50 years ago or more, and bring it right back to present time. The cars are all beautiful. They're all restored. They're all kept up to date, so that you can relive that experience. You can bring your child there and say, I grew up with that Mustang. That Plymouth there, I had one of those, or my father had one of those. Besides all of the beautiful souped up cars, if you will, that Mark brings in. So it's a great opportunity for you. It's a great opportunity for your family. It's a great opportunity to share experiences, and of course, helping seniors at Brevard will do well as a result. So it's $25. It's 5 tickets for 100. Is that right, Kerry?
That is exactly how it works. Yeah, and we have one other special kind of a dispensation, because we want to honor our founder, Joe Steckler, the gentleman who put all of this in motion. And Dr. Sheldon, as you know, you were helping, you and John Harper were helping Joe in the days when he was building up the Brevard Alzheimer's. We have a thing called Friend of Joe, and it's a wonderful way. You, Dr. Sheldon, became a member. Tammy and I gave, so we're members of that. We call it the Friend of Joe Honor Roll. And so in addition to getting a nice little lapel pin for your jacket, you're actually published on our website as a Friend of Joe. And then in the December edition that we publish in Senior, you're going to get listed there. But the benefit is you also get 10 tickets for the car raffle. So as I had an engineering friend who works for NASA tell me, he said, Kerry, he said, let's just say there was 1,000 tickets in the barrel. He said, if I get one ticket, I now have a 1 in 1,000 chance to win. He said, if I buy 2 tickets, he said, I cut my odds in half. Now I have a 1 in 500. So he said, I'm going to get 5 and go that route. But imagine if you get 10, now you're really amping up your chances, and you surely are helping the work of helping seniors. So want to encourage you to get a ticket and be in it to win it, as we like to say, Dr. Sheldon.
Yep, and I'll tell you, the event where the number is drawn, and even if the person isn't there, the phone call afterwards,
it's fun. Yes, it is.
Goodness,
yes, it is.
It's a lot of. It's like being on a major TV game show.
It was great because I remember last year when we finished reading out the number and we got the clue that, okay, the winner is not here. And then fortunately, we were able to reach him right away. And he's like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe I won. And then I remember asking him, I said, what do you want out of the 7 great choices? He said, well, I worked for General Motors for many years. He said, I'm really a fan of the truck. And so Jim Newman of Cocoa, that's what he selected last year, was a beautiful Chevrolet Colorado pickup truck. There's actually pictures of it. If you go to helpingseniors.carraffle.com and get your tickets and you kind of scroll through, you're going to see a picture of Jim with his winning truck last year. And just imagine yourself in that picture this year with the car that you selected because we pulled your name and winning ticket out of the barrel. So what's the moral of this story? Get a ticket, be in it to win it, helpingseniors.carraffle.com. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get into the actual stuff that we want to talk about, Dr. Sheldon, because this is coming from an article that is actually going to be published in the next edition of the Helping Seniors News, which we publish, center section of Senior Scene magazine. It's that popular free magazine available at 500 locations around the county. You just literally find a copy, and you can also read it online at seniorscenemag.com. But, I was previewing the article that's going in there, and you said tooth decay is not normal. And I guess maybe you did too much trunk or treat or something. But, why? I guess I would think it's almost inevitable. I mean, we try to brush our teeth, but isn't that the reason we go to the dentist, is to see if everything is going okay with it?
Exactly right. This is one of those cases where if you do diagnose it early, you have a better opportunity of repairing it. But then we've got to go to cause. We've got to go to cause. And, we're finding this more and more in medicine now, too. Rather than just say take the drug, we've got to go to cause, because you can only take so many drugs and the body still is not functioning because we're not doing the right things for it. Well, the simplest answers that we have is in the mouth, where everything is visible. We don't need to do a blood test. We don't need to do, I was going to say we don't need to do x-rays, but actually we do need to do x-rays. But we don't need to do a lot of tests in order to be able to see whether you're complying with what's healthy for you or not. And I go to what's going on right now, where I believe the Secretary of Health, I forget what that's called, has identified that 70% of the foods that we're eating are now processed foods. And we're talking about these hyper-processed foods, ultra-processed foods, and what they mean. And ultra-processed foods essentially means that the machine has eaten all the good stuff and we're getting everything else. And it happens to taste good. Well, the stuff that tastes good, just because it's coming out of a can or a box, does not mean that that's food. It is a semblance of food. In other words, we eat it. But if we eat that food, we're not necessarily satisfied by eating that food, because the body isn't getting the nutrients that it needs. And so we keep on eating more and more and more and more and more, and we get fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter as a result. Yeah. Well, imagine the teeth being bathed in this same stuff that's causing you to become unhealthy. And in fact, the teeth become unhealthy as a result. So the typical thing you'll hear from dentists is don't eat sugar. I think the better question is, what has sugar in it and what doesn't? And if you take a look at the box, or you take a look at the can, you can see a number of items that you aren't identified as sugar. It doesn't say sugar on it. It'll say a whole lot of other things on it that may be sugar, like glucose, fructose, dextrose, maltose, high fructose corn syrup solids, maltodextrin, molasses, brown sugar, evaporated cane juice, agave nectar, fruit juice concentrate, invert sugar, maple syrup, barley malt, honey, golden syrup, crystalline fructose, sorghum syrup, and something I never heard of called jaggery. And if we just look down the line and we see all of these different things, we say, gee, I didn't know the maltodextrin was a sugar product. I didn't know that. So we're talking about today is, yes, you have tooth decay, And yes, we can fix the tooth decay. We're better at it than ever. We've got composite fillings that look exactly like teeth. We've got etchants which allow us to stick that filling onto the tooth in order to be able to create a seal. And guess what? You can screw up the whole thing by eating the wrong thing. And that's what we're talking about today. We can repair it. We can't prevent you from getting it again. There are several times when I will see a patient who's had a crown done, and 5 years later, I'm detecting decay. And the patient says, well, I had a cap done on it. Cap is the same as a crown. How come it's decaying? I said, all we're doing is covering it with something. Bacteria is smart enough to get onto the tooth structure that it's covering and cause it to rot again. So Our goal is repair first, maybe prevent yourself from even coming into the office. We could talk about that. But then the next step is, once it's repaired, to not let it decay again, because if it rotted before, we need to do some repair, particularly major repair, it will do it again unless you change your habits at home.
Oh, wow. It really is amazing when you think about it, because I think so often we're always looking for like the quick repair when we should be looking for the right solution that keeps us out of trouble to begin with. And particularly we talk so much about sugar and the damage it can do. And, Dr. Sheldon, we've done a lot of shows where you talk about how not only is the mouth itself kind of like an entryway, so having a healthy mouth then actually can really be beneficial to your overall health. But then maybe the flip side is what we're putting into us is also causing a problem in the mouth. So when we talk about sugar, and you in this article, you're talking about it really kind of creates a lot of abnormal bacterial activity. And then you're telling us not only to be concerned about, okay, I put sugar in my iced tea or something like that, but you're saying you got to look for all these other sugars as well.
Yeah, I think you do. And I think you brought up an excellent point, which, by the way, I didn't cover in the article, Kerry, so thanks for bringing it up. If we eat bad things that aren't healthy for us, it does change the balance of the bacterial and viral and virus flora. In other words, the living cells that are in the mouth. It changes the environment. And so we may become more prone to decay simply because we've given the wrong bacteria the opportunity to flourish because we've given it the wrong thing to begin with. So imagine a bacteria, there's some bacteria that really thrive on sugar. There are others that don't. Imagine if you kept on feeding them and feeding them and feeding them, you're actually changing the balance of the bacteria in your mouth. And there are ways to even diagnose the balance of the bacteria in the mouth and see if that's where you are. Because once we change that, the body may not come back without the help of some probiotics or something along that line. So the first thing is the sugar. Yeah, the sugar is feeding the wrong bacteria. The sugar is allowing the bacteria to excrete acid. When it excretes acid, the tooth will rot as a result. But if we've done that over a long period of time, we might have a permanent change in the balance of that bacteria, which we may have to correct with a probiotic. There is a company out there called Bristle, Bristle. And you can go to Bristle, it's probably bristle.com, and you can order a test where you spit into a cup, you send it out to that laboratory, and they'll tell you whether the balance of your bacteria in your mouth is okay or not. And if it's not okay, then they'll give you a probiotic supplement, an appropriate probiotic supplement to start to rebalance what's going on in the mouth. So it's gotten a little bit more sophisticated than just don't eat sugar.
Right.
It's something else.
I hear you. Well, we're going to be right back with the second half of the Helping Seniors radio show and continue this conversation with Dr. Lee Sheldon. Stick around.
And our host, along with her special guest, Dr. Lee Sheldon. Kerry?
Hey, thank you, John Harper. It's so always good to be here gathering around the radio at lunchtime on 90.3 FM, WEJF, and also thanks to those who find us online, WEJF.net. And if you're catching this as a podcast, we appreciate you as well. And want to remind you, by the way, one of the reasons why we do the podcast, every program we do, we release out as a podcast. We also put it, there on our YouTube channel, Helping Seniors of Brevard, our Facebook page, Helping Seniors of Brevard, of course, our website, helpingseniors.brevard.org. And, you can even find it on X or Twitter or whatever we call it these days, and LinkedIn as well. So because part of our mission is to inform, educate, and connect seniors to resources that are going to be of benefit to them as we all navigate adding years or trips around the sun, as they sometimes like to say it. So we are having a great conversation with none other than noted periodontist, longtime friend of Helping Seniors, volunteers his time on the board with Helping Seniors of Brevard to help us try to accomplish the mission of the organization. In fact, he goes so far back with this. He was just like John Harper. Both of those guys were helping Joe get the Brevard Alzheimer's built up. And now we're all working together to try to build up everything we can do in the Helping Seniors world. And I love the title of today's show, We Can Fix It, You Can Prevent It, Dr. Sheldon.
Well, I like to fix. I did. I haven't fixed in a long time now. I'm the diagnostician.
Well, you tell people how to fix now.
I do, and it's fun. I just got an opportunity to speak on the other side of the country again. It's fun.
Wow.
That at least at this tender young age, that people still want to hear me talk, which is great. But we are going to talk about their fixing periodontal disease. But today we're not talking about periodontal disease. We're talking about tooth decay, which tooth decay is something that we treat in our office. We have Dr. Matt Sheldon, my son, and now we have Dr. Vladia Coelho, who has just joined us. And Vladia is going to be involved in some of the surgical aspects of the practice, as well as some of the reparative aspects of the practice. Dr. Vladia is well experienced. She's been a dentist for well over 20 years. And we're excited to have her and have her join the team. She's going to add a skill set to our office, which is going to help all of our patients and all of our patients do better. The other thing, and we're very happy over that, is our practice has become busier and busier and busier. And now we're in this new beautiful location, the 3912 West O'Galley Boulevard. It's a lot different from the old place. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Kerry. Have you?
No, I have a teeth cleaning appointment there next week. I can't wait to get there and see it, because I was thinking, we did the last show, you and I were together on the radio when we were talking about the fact that, you began the practice at that location that everybody knows there. And you guys have been bursting at the seams for years as the practice has grown, and you're just more popular, and people are, just finding the practice, and it's just incredible. So I can't wait to see. I know, I think we're part of something you guys are doing, kind of like a grand opening or a ribbon cutting or some kind of a big event coming up here, just actually a couple of days before our car raffle. I think it's the Friday before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is the Friday before, and this is going to be, you're going to be there, and thank you for being there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be for the doctors and for the other staff members who refer patients to our practice. We have a two-tiered practice, if you will. We have the referral part of the practice where people will refer primarily to Dr. Furtado, who's an outstanding periodontist and surgeon. And so other dentists in the area, many dentists in the area, are referring to our practice for that. And so patients will see their dentists. They need specialty work. They'll refer them over to us to have us do the work, and then they go back to their general dentist. So we're going to be hosting that group that night. We, at least from what I'm told, Don't forget, I
Mm-hmm.
no longer own
Mm-hmm.
the practice, but I hear things, So from what I'm told, we are going to have an event for directly for patients as well, but we haven't set a date for that one yet. This one is already subscribed. We've got an awful lot of people coming here, which is very, very exciting to see what we have. I think once you see the practice, you're going to see why it is that our practice has decided to move into this location. It provides us with all of the facilities under one roof that we need and that we want. It provides a lot of space that we never had before. It gives us, we've always had top technology, but it gives us now space for that technology to actually be easily accessed without going into the closet and pulling something out.
Right.
So it's a lot more convenient. And when you look at the place, you say, yeah, now I understand why this is the dental practice to go to. It just looks the part. The other thing that we haven't talked about yet, or if we did, it was very briefly, is that Dr. Furtado has brought in a top dental specialist to run a dental laboratory. So we now have our own laboratory facility in Melbourne, Florida as well. So, which of course gives us, we've always done well with laboratories. I mean, you select your laboratory well, you select your technicians well, you do well. And it turns out that one of those people is running this laboratory now. She is a prosthodontist. That means she's a specialist in restorative dentistry in the country that she comes from. She's been doing a beautiful job for us on our dental implant cases for several years now, and now she's running a laboratory, and we have outstanding clinicians along with them, or laboratory technicians with her, in order to be able to create the best result we possibly can. So besides the beautiful facility, we have our own laboratory now, and it just keeps on getting better and better and better. Something I never would have dreamed of when I opened up this 1,000 square foot facility with one dental operatory on October 16th, 1980.
Yeah, that was literally the focus of our show. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we make sure we archive everything so that there's a huge library now of helping seniors materials. And what we've learned along the way is people will hunt stuff down when they're looking for a particular topic. But take a look for that show because it really was fun to hear. We've always talked, Dr. Sheldon, about how you really have always been on the cutting edge of stuff. You were like the first people to really develop the whole concept of dental implants. Now everybody jumps on the bandwagon, and yet you're also one of the first people to say about dental implants, not always so fast. Let's see if we can save teeth before we do that. But then you've been involved in so many kind of groundbreaking studies. You have built your practice to a point that literally other practices around the country call you and ask you how to do it. And then you're collaborating with practices worldwide, trying to figure out some innovative technologies that are going to help us be healthier. And so you've really been a great resource. And so now when you have this state-of-the-art facility like you guys are talking about for Dr. Sheldon and Furtado Solid Bite, I really can't wait to see it. It's going to be great. And so congratulations on that. I know that's a big move forward, but what an exciting, and the times keep it changing, don't they?
They sure do. And it just keeps on getting better and better and better. And I look at it and say, wow, I couldn't have dreamed this. Yes.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
Great. It's great. Well, so let's dive back into the conversation that we began in the first half of the show. We can fix it. You can prevent it. And we were really spending some time talking about something that I thought was kind of something we haven't spent a whole lot of time talking about, which is sugar and tooth decay and things like that. And we had talked a little bit in the first part of the show about that, the fact that you were explaining that tooth decay is not normal. We shouldn't expect it. While you guys can fix it, we can take steps on our own to prevent it. And we talked a little bit about how sugar causes abnormal bacteria activity in the mouth. And then you also explained that we got to not only look for things that are labeled sugar, but there's a lot of other things that we want to understand are probably having the same kind of a damaging effect. But what I wanted to kind of get down to was talking about the saliva. You actually were talking about, I think the company you were talking about was called Bristle, and you said they help you kind of determine what's going on in your mouth as to the condition of, and I just took it, maybe it's not, but I took it as helping you figure out the saliva. But why is that important? And then you also mentioned dry mouth in all this too.
Yeah, well, let's cover first what the Bristle test does. So the Bristle test shows the bacteria that's in the mouth and shows whether it's properly balanced or not. Okay. But then we look at the saliva itself. And, the saliva is there in order to be able to make the mouth wet, but it's also there to buffer acids. In other words, it's there to take acids and make them normal, make them neutral rather than acidic. An acidic mouth, a mouth that's full of acid, is going to be much more prone to getting tooth decay. As a matter of fact, when we see a patient, it's routine that we'll place, same thing you'd put in a swimming pool. You take a little piece of paper, you put it under the tongue or on top of the tongue, and you see what the acid level is in your mouth. And the normal, that's called pH, which has to do with dissociation of hydrogen. But the pH, the H stands for hydrogen, should be at 7.0. The lower the pH, the more the acid. And it's frequent that we'll see patients with a pH of 5.5 or 5.0. And what that means is that the body is continually dissolving the tooth because the acid level is so high. Now, imagine you add sugar to something that's already dissolving the tooth, and now it's going to go haywire and it's going to cause a lot of tooth decay. When I'm recommending treatment or non-treatment, I'll emphasize non-treatment here, to patients, and if I see that they're prone to getting a lot of decay and I see that they have an acid mouth, that's not the patient I'm going to recommend crowns and root canals to. Remember, we talked about take it easy, don't go to dental implants too fast. In this case, I'd say it may be a waste of money for you to spend all that money on the crown. Save your money for a dental implant instead. So what I'm looking at is what is causing the disease to begin with so that your money is spent correctly rather than incorrectly. There's some patients who say, I can do nothing for you. Keep your teeth going for as long as possible, but don't spend a lot of money on these teeth because they're then going to continue to rot anyway. And you'll say, why did I spend that money? I just got that crown 3 years ago. I just got that root canal and now my tooth is going bad. We don't want to be in that condition. We want to know in advance whether it's worthwhile spending the money on the root canal, spending the money on the crown. And dry mouth, along with high levels of acid, are the two things that we can look to, as well as current tooth decay, things that we can look at to determine whether, in fact, it's worthwhile spending money on the teeth or not.
There's so many dynamics to this. One of the things that you point out also is that there's medications that can get in the middle of all this too, and maybe exacerbate the problem. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you're saying that correctly because there is over 500 medications that cause dry mouth. Dry mouth is an acidic mouth. In other words, a dry mouth is full of acid. And yes, there are a number of medications, as I said, over 500 medications that do that. Now, you may not be able to get off the medications. We understand that. And so we have to work within the system that you present to us in order to be able to help you make the best decision on what dental care can and should be done. There are methods that we use to help mitigate that. There was some at one time I was asking patients to rinse out with baking soda rinses because baking soda rinses will neutralize acid. It'll work for a while, usually 2 or 3 hours, then your mouth will become acidic again. And there are very few people who are willing to rinse out with baking soda every 3 hours. But there's another thing that you can use, and that's xylitol, Xylitol. And xylitol is a sugar, but it's a sugar that prevents tooth decay. And so
Oh.
you can buy xylitol mints, make sure it has all xylitol in it, nothing else. And you can dissolve xylitol mints in your mouth. The particular brand that
Oh.
we recommend you can get online. It's called Zelly's Mints, Zellie. And you can dissolve 5 of those mints a day, which will help to neutralize the effects of those negative things that are going on in your saliva that are causing tooth decay. The Zelly's mints taste good. You just dissolve them in your mouth. It takes 7 minutes or so to dissolve one in the mouth. And you just extend that over the day. You don't do it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
You do it periodically during the day. It tastes good and may very well help prevent tooth decay from occurring.
Wow. Yeah, I was thinking about so often we have these conversations, and mostly we're talking about gum health and that kind of thing. And here we're having a lot of issues about tooth decay and things like that. And I made the comment on a show that we've done before. I think one of the things that's been so beneficial about having the privilege of knowing you is that historically we were raised with, if we're brushing and flossing, we should be good, and our whole goal was to get to the dentist office, have them do their checkup and say, hey, you got no cavities. And then as we've talked more and more, I've really come to learn how important that the underlying structure for your teeth is as well. But I guess it's a question then, is brushing and flossing enough? Or it really seems to me like that's important. But at the same time, if you've got to do these other things if you're really going to be fully effective.
You do. Brushing and flossing removes bacteria, but bacteria will lodge in some deep grooves within the tooth. And therefore, the only thing you can do is to prevent those deep grooves from being attacked by the wrong things. And of course, the wrong things are bacteria and the dry mouth and the acid mouth. Therefore, contributes to that. I just thought of something, Kerry, while we have a few minutes.
Sure.
And you have the date of it, and I don't. But Dr. Chris Naglieri, who's a very talented endodontist, root canal specialist, and I are going to lecture together on dental prevention at Helping Seniors of Brevard. We're going to do that in November, right?
That's right. That's exactly
I forgot
correct.
What the date is.
The date is November. Hang on, let me pull it up right here. But it's November because it shifts around in November because we're doing our with the holidays and all that. So it's earlier in November than it normally would be, but it's part of our, normally we would call it our 4th Thursday wellness series. But in this particular case, it comes up on Thursday, November the 13th, because I think if we talk about the 4th Thursday, we're going to wind up in Thanksgiving or something. So this is Thursday, November the 13th. And Dr. Sheldon, you're saying exactly correct. So we do a thing normally every 4th Thursday. In this case, it's the 13th. But we do a knowledge college from 10 to 11 at Joe's Senior Resource Center, and we follow it up with an hour from 11 to 12 that we call the Wellness Series. And each time we're trying to have a speaker who's going to bring some really good knowledge. Like, for example, in October, for the knowledge college portion of this, we're going to have actually Carlette Della Quadri, who is from Amazing Real Estate. She's going to share some tips on real estate for seniors. But then the wellness series is going to be Dr. Cressida Cornish, who is a licensed pharmacist and going to talk about medication management. But on November 13th, go ahead and get this on your calendar, 11 to 12 noon. Dr. Lee Sheldon and Dr. Chris Naglieri. Am I saying that right?
Naglieri, correct, yes.
Okay, with Brevard Endodontics is going to be our speakers. And we titled this called Not So Fast on Implants, Evidence-Based Ways to Save Teeth. So I'm looking forward to learning. These are free sessions. And we ask if you can RSVP, because that way we know how much snacks and door prizes and other fun things that we can have for you there as well. But you're welcome to come out and join us. And it's going to be a great learning experience. But you're right. That's Thursday, November 13th. From 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Dr. Sheldon. Yeah,
and essentially what we're going to, because we've talked about this a lot, there are too many dental implants being done. There's no question about that. Mm-hmm. Chris is an excellent endodontist. He saves teeth. He's one of those people that I can rely on, who if a tooth can be saved, he can save it. And of course, I'm going to talk about it from a periodontal perspective. Both of us are going to talk about how we make a decision, including how much it costs to
Yeah.
save a tooth versus extract a tooth and replace with a dental implant. So we're going to cover the details of what you can look for and how you can discuss with your dentist intelligently whether you want to save the tooth or not. So Chris will give you some background on infections and the infections that can be solved with endodontic treatment. Of course, I'll talk about periodontal disease and dental implants, and the two of us will be able to mix it up a little bit because he's young and I'm old. So our perspectives may be a little bit different in some areas, maybe not. We'll see.
It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. We are so blessed that we get really the benefit of some of the best talent, I think, to share their expertise and knowledge at these events. And so I do want to encourage you to always take a look and keep up. A great place to keep up with our calendar, by the way, is on our website, helpingseniorsofbrevard.org. We always try to keep it updated there. And we always try to keep major events published on our Facebook page. So it's really a good idea to follow along on the Facebook page, which cleverly enough is Helping Seniors Brevard. so there you have it. So Dr. Sheldon, back to I have one last thing that I want to bring up, and I would almost say, like they say when somebody's discussing a movie, spoiler alert, because this is literally your last sentence in the article you're going to publish called "We Can Fix It, You Can Prevent It." And I thought this is actually kind of shocking. So it's kind of as a shocking ending. And you say, remember this, sugar is not a nutrient. It's a poison. And I thought, wow, that's kind of strong language there.
Bring it home. Bring it home. It's a poison, okay?
Wow.
It's not, oh, it tastes good. Oh, it's modified by this. It's a poison. There is no nutritive value to sugar whatsoever. And so if you think of it as a poison, you may be less likely to eat or drink a poison. And that's the whole idea. I got this from Scott Adams, by the way, who's a podcaster. And, call it what it is. Just say it's the sweetener. It's this. No, it's a poison.
Wow. Well,
how much poison do you want to eat?
What was that thing they did years ago? They called it straight talk, scare you out of it. But hopefully we'll learn. Straight. Yeah, hopefully we'll take heed and do that. Well, so Dr. Sheldon, as we do want to talk about a program that you do, which actually ends up being a fundraiser for us. It's called Solid Bite Gives Back. And it is so important because as we're talking about the health of your mouth, the health of your teeth, the health of your gums, one great way to explore where you are is to take advantage of Dr. Sheldon's Solid Bite Gives Back program, which is a great tool because it helps you as the medical professional. It helps us as the people trying to do the best we can with our mouths, but it also helps the work of Helping Seniors. Share on that for just a moment.
Well, I think it's important that people have a full evaluation. More than once a week, we'll get a new Google review saying, I never had this thorough a dental examination. And whether you just need a cleaning or whether you need major reconstructive work, we do the same examination on everyone. Examination includes x-ray, CT scan, full evaluation with us, and take advantage of our knowledgeable staff as well. And we'll tell you what you have, what you need. There's some people who leave our office, I'm saying, you don't even need a cleaning. And there are other people who need a lot more than that. But it takes an assessment to be able to do that. So a full examination, $50 or more to Helping Seniors of Brevard. Just call the office, 321-259-8000. Say you heard me on Helping Seniors of Brevard, and they'll know exactly what to do so you can take advantage of the Solid Bite Gives Back program.
No, it's wonderful. And what a great tool. What a great resource that is. That helps us a lot as a charity. And thank you for bringing such a good program into the county. So as we're getting toward the end of the show, I just want to give you a couple of items for your calendar so that you can jot these things down. We already talked about that date you want to be sure you put down, November 13th, Thursday, to join us at 11 a.m. Actually, we would advise you, if you want to, come at 10 a.m. because you're going to enjoy the Knowledge College that is directly in front of that. We do Knowledge College from 10 to 11 on that day. And then we do the Wellness Series from 11 to 12. And Dr. Sheldon and his compadre in endodontics are going to present on that. So you don't want to miss that. But a couple other things that I did want to share with you that I think are worth keeping in mind is tomorrow night, which will be the 9th, we're going to be out at Friendly's Car Show there beachside from 5 to 8 because this is the home stretch for our 9th annual Helping Seniors Car Raffle. So we're going to be out there with your tickets. Another great opportunity to get involved in all of that is going to come up actually on the 16th. We're going to be out at the Burger Inn Car Show. They're doing a special trunk or treat kind of thing out there. And then on the 18th, we're going to be back at Calvary Chapel, West Melbourne, because we're going to be part of the big car show. And everything is a lead in to Sunday that we started the show out talking about, Sunday, October 26th, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the American Muscle Car Museum. And that is a date you definitely want to be there so that we can find out which car you pick when we pull your name out of the barrel. It's going to be so much fun. So another thing I want to mention coming up on Friday, we're now doing a program called Senior Tech Talk. It's every second Friday at Joe's Senior Resource Center. And we have a wonderful millennial who is teaching us how to make the most of our technology. In particular, we're focused in on smartphones since everybody wants us to be significantly adept at those. So make sure you call us and find out about that. 321-473-7770. That's the time for today's show. We'll see you right back here on WEJF next Wednesday. Till then, have a great week.